The Lions favored by 3 here at the Chargers. Chargers up to 4-4 now. Starting to believe again?
Did you see, so speaking of injury reports, the Chargers had an injury report that featured one name.
Our guy?
It doesn't matter who it was. Just the point being,
oh, that's it?
They had one person on the injury report, the Los Angeles Chargers, of cursed injury luck. At this point in the season, it's usually half the rosters on the injury report, and the rest of them are injured.
Does that mean they're poised to be dangerous?
Yeah.
Everyone who jumped off the bandwagon when they were 2-4, like they're coming back.
Now's the time.
Is there room back on the bandwagon for the Chargers? Maybe not against the Lions, man. We'll see. Lions coming off a bye after getting whooped by the Ravens.
Yeah.
Will they bounce back here?
That was a bad.
The Lions, they're another team with like pretty steep home road splits. Jared Goff's home road splits in particular, from a pass game perspective, it doesn't mean it's impossible to win on the road. But the road games that they've won, they beat Kansas City week 1, 21-20, beat the Packers 31-20, beat the Bucs 20-6, and then got whooped by the Ravens. Those are the road games for the Lions so far.
Mm-hmm. Aiden Hutchinson going up against the right side of that Chargers offensive line feels like a win for Hutchinson and the Lions. Justin Herbert is ranked 14th in PFF grade this season. Like, there have been signs that there's some positive things coming from the Herbert Kellen Moore combination, but it's not doing what it should do, right? Like, it's not improving everything. Herbert in particular has been missing a lot of throws. He hasn't been playing as well. His turnover-worthy play rate that we were asking to kind of go up as a proxy to make his game more aggressive and better overall, it's gone up, but the other things haven't really improved. So actually what we've done is just make Justin Herbert worse since Kellen Moore came in.
For some perspective there, he's pretty much doubled his turnover-worthy play rate, Herbert.
Yeah.
And his big-time throw rate has gone up 0.5%. Since last year. It's actually below his first 2 seasons. So you're not getting the big-time throws.
I mean, he has 1 fewer turnover-worthy play than he had all of 2021 and 2 fewer than he had last season when he had a broken rib for half.
That's the other
broken rib cartilage.
Now, we also know, look, big-time, it's an isolate the quarterback type of stat. We try to isolate the quarterback as much as we can when it comes to PFF grading. Of course, that's the goal. But we know how much big-time throws also come down to some opportunities and having those receivers. And without Mike Williams, they still don't really have that deep threat. Quentin Johnston's one of the lowest yards per route run figures in the NFL right now. He's not become a downfield threat. We know Keenan Allen's not going to do much beyond 10 or 12 yards. That's his range. That's where he's awesome. Other than, open wheel routes, which apparently Justin Herbert has the yips throwing. They don't have a great downfield threat. I'm interested in Darius Davis. He had the punt return for a touchdown the other night. They'll give him some gimmick plays. He's one of those guys he is an electric playmaker. He could be my next Deontay Hardy, Khalif Raymond type that I'm like, I'll throw Darius Davis a couple deep balls a game. But honestly, just to get something going down the field so it's not just Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett, I think the Chargers need to try to tap into that because they don't have great downfield options right now.
Yeah, I think they need Quentin Johnston at this point, right? So I think it's time for them to actually start scheming for Quentin Johnston as opposed to just putting him out there as part of the play and say, run, this is your role in this play, run it, and if the ball comes your way, make the most of it. Let's start saying, we actually need this guy to be a bigger part of the offense. We're going to have to start dialing some things up specifically for Quentin Johnston because, he has played a lot. I mean, Keenan Allen has 350-ish passing play snaps. Joshua Palmer's got 250-ish, and then Quentin Johnston's next with 179. He's playing a lot. The ball is not coming his way because, in part, they're not designing anything for him to be open, right? It's just, this is your role in this offense. You're running a specific receiver pattern and just make the most of it. I think it's time for them to start saying, we know what Keenan Allen can do. He will function in any role within this offense. Nobody else is really bringing an awful lot, so let's start scheming some stuff up for Quentin Johnston and try and get him the ball in areas that he can do well in.
You'll be surprised to learn that I made another mistake.
Oh, God.
The Lions' last game was not against the Ravens. It's the last game that stood out in my head. but it was they got Josh McDaniels fired on Monday Night Football.
They did.
In Week 8, beat the Raiders. That was their last game before the bye. So I apologize again to our listeners for lying, basically.
For lying, yeah.
Yeah, I lied. Mistruths.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I told. So yeah, the Lions did bounce back pretty well after that disappointment with the Ravens. They bounced back after a heartbreaker against the Seahawks in Week 2, went on a bit of a stretch. So I think the Lions are still really good overall. I think their offensive line against this Chargers pass rush, man, the Chargers pass rush has been so hit or miss this year, and it really feels like a lot of teams only beat up on bad offensive lines. It feels like it's kind of extreme for the Chargers, right? They're sacking Zach Wilson like crazy the other night.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what they've done. They did it against the Raiders when it was Aiden O'Connell. Like all of their best pass rush games have been against the Titans, the Raiders with O'Connell, and the Jets with Zach Wilson. And other than that, that's pretty much it. So I don't really trust the Chargers rushing the passer against this Detroit team, and I think Goff will have some success here.
Well, yeah, it's a big kind of test, I think, for Joey Bosa, who hasn't been Joey Bosa generally this season, but he has been the last couple of weeks against some bad players, you know? So is Joey Bosa actually back, or did Joey Bosa just run up against a couple of favorable matchups and therefore looked back? That, I think, is a factor for them. Like, overall, I think their pass rush isn't bad. I mean, Khalil Mack has looked more like Khalil Mack this year, again,
since
factoring
the O'Connell
in.
game.
Right, again, factoring in the favorable matchups. Joey Bosa looks like he's on the way back. The rookie, Tuli Pelotu, has looked pretty good
he's
as
been
a rookie.
good.
So it's not bad, but I think it's a fair point that we don't know yet how much of that is just a product of running up against bad opposition.
Oh, I'm torn on this one. This is one of my favorite games. I'm still a believer in the Chargers.
Okay.
I'm back to believing in the Chargers, but maybe not this week. No, I am. Give me the Chargers. Getting
I'm
3. They're
going
back.
with Detroit.
Chargers are back.
I'm, in fact, not a believer in the Chargers.
I'm a believer in the Chargers for some reason.